Hello everyone, welcome to the SubPar Poddy C, officially,
unofficially,
the best podcast on the internet. And I fucking know, pressing all my buttons, Coco.
I was just thinking that. I didn't realise that we were going straight into podcast mode at the end of the countdown. I thought there'd be like a 1 minute, hi guys, yeah, we're just going to record it.
Never.
We're straight in, I love it. This is so professional.
And you know what I say? When you do something well, ruin it by saying how well you did it. That's the best part. You know?
For those listening, I'm shrugging.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, can you do an audible shrug, please? Now I know your shoulders need to make the noise. Louder. You're trying to take off.
This is the most exercise I've done in about 3 months.
You see, you're going to have just amazing shrug muscles. What are those ones
mega
called?
Shrugs.
Traps. Traps, that's the one. Your trapezoids. Yeah, this is episode number 64 of the SubPar Poddy C, and you guys will know that we didn't do one yesterday. Cool. Sorry, last week rather, because a lot happened, and we thought, you know what, we'll delay it a week. We'll try and fit in every single piece of news because there is a lot of news for us to cover. But in the meantime, and before we get to the biggest news of this RLCS season yet, this episode is brought to you by Rlcs.com. And Cool, I wish there was just one place where I could just go and trade and look at all the items that are in the item shop. But unfortunately, that place doesn't exist, does it?
Rocket-league.com.
What are you telling me?
Rocket-league.com.
Rocket Jazz League?
Rocket
Jazz League.
Listen, right, you're not picking up what I'm putting down. You keep saying, I wish I could do this, and I'll keep saying, Rocket-league.com. All around you.
All over, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. So you keep going, mate, with things you wish you could do.
Oh, if only I could ignore my nan a bit more.
Rocket-league.com.
If only I could look at my phone and see what's in the Rocket League store.
Rocket-league.com.
But, Cole, there is a way. There is a way that I can do that. It's by going to rocket-league.com or looking at the mobile app. And if you are in the garden with your stupid, dumb, idiot mother looking at some petunias and she's saying, pass me the trowel, you can say, shut up, mum. I've just seen that a titanium white fennec is now available.
Rocket-league.com. Give it a tap on your phone.
Wait, so it's not just give it a tap, it's give it a tap on your phone.
Check out the app.
No, we don't need
when
more.
You're not home.
Oh, we did need more. Never mind.
There you go.
Okay, right, so what's the entire tagline?
Rocket-league. Wait, how did it start?
Give it a tap on your phone.
Check out the app when you're not home.
That's it. There you go.
It's
then
the
at the end,
to buy and sell.
Wait, why is there more? It's such a long tagline.
Other apps are shit.
Fuck off, mum. That's what it ends with. Thank you very much, rocket-league.com, for sponsoring the Poddy C #ad. Did you know legally you have to say it verbally?
Every time anything is sponsored. Let's go to the Cheez-It Stadium. #ad.
#ad. But yes, this is episode number 64, and Cool, we should get into the biggest news of the millennia, quite frankly, because very unfortunately, there is going to be no RLCS Worlds. There is going to be no LAN. It will all be held online. This is on the 15th of April, and Worlds cannot go ahead, of course, due to COVID. A lot of people seem annoyed about this. So are we, ultimately. We've tweeted about this. A lot of the casters have. We had a big old meeting about it as well with Psyonix, and the feel was, we wish we could have a LAN, because how amazing would that be? Having EU, NA come together, have Sam and OC send their representatives, can they take series? No. But it just can't happen. So we're gutted, you're gutted, and I just wanted to sort of go through our feelings, really, because it's not a nice thing, ultimately.
No, it's not. And I think the thing that has annoyed me the most is the fact that some people seem to have thought that Psyonix did this to be deceitful, or because screw the viewers, we don't care about them. We'd rather end this season as badly as possible for some weird reason. Like, they had the option to do it, and they were like, nah. Screw the players that have been putting the hours in. Screw the coaches that have been training their players. Screw the fans that have invested this time. Screw those guys. Obviously, that's not the case.
Yeah.
And this bugged me as well when people have defended it. You know, you've got people tweeting, people who we work with tweeting, and people going, oh, you're on that Psyonix payroll, are you? I really tried to imagine if I wasn't part of the B stream, then part of the A stream, if it was you and me in a podcast a year and a half ago, would I be having a go at Psyonix? I don't think I would have the audacity to be so freaking dense as to have a go at Psyonix for this decision if I wasn't on the payroll. And I am, right? So ultimately, I can't, I'm not thinking that in a vacuum, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't see how people were angry at the fact that Psyonix have said it's not safe yet. We're gutted that it's not safe yet. We're just as distraught as you are. But hey, the $1 million, that's still being shared between the regions. Like...
That's my feeling as well, because it sucks. We all wanted a LAN. We've not seen each other for like a year. We've not seen Shogun and Johnny and all of the NA guys for over a year. It's been like when was Madrid, where we literally bumped into those guys once because they were really, really busy. That was December 2019. So it's been 1.5 years, near enough, 1 year, 5 months since we've seen those guys. We miss them so much. I miss seeing the players and being able to chat to a load of our mates who are ultimately in that big old ecosystem. We can't do that. We're upset. Understandably, players are upset. There have been just some very, very short-sighted, very, quite frankly, stupid tweets that have gone out. Disappointing tweets, to be honest, as well. I'm not going to name any names, but there have just been very disappointing tweets that have gone out where people do not understand the absolute magnitude. I did take pleasure, though, in just screenshotting some of the stupidest replies to tweets and sending them to, like, I sent them into the group with, like, me and Cole and stuff like that. So it was some tweets where my favourite one, out of every single one that I saw, and there were some real doozies in there.
Go on.
Somebody said, along the lines of, now, this will not be verbatim, maybe we can crowdfund it. I'm sure lots of people will donate so that we can rent a stadium. Sorry, you think the barrier is that we can't rent a stadium? And secondly, do you know how much money it costs to crowdfund to rent a stadium? It's not just that cost either. It's then staff. It's then catering. It's then putting on an entire event with $1 million prize pool, and you think you can crowdfund to rent a stadium?
There's also the fact that because Rocket League, the best reason I've seen for this, why Rocket League have said no, where perhaps other esports have been able to say yes in some capacity. And I think even saying other esports have said yes is exaggerated. It's local LANs, or it's this part of this event is, but that part's been cancelled because there was a COVID outbreak, blah, blah, blah. And I think the reason that really justifies it is the fact that Rocket League skews so young, where you have literal 15-year-olds enter. Imagine if a 15-year-old who felt pressured to come to this thing, and even if they didn't feel pressured, was desperate to, came along and caught COVID.
With their guardians.
Psyonix's watch, with their guardians as well. They've flown over. So now you've got an underaged child in the middle of, let's say it's in Germany, right? First place that comes to mind. You've got an underaged child who catches COVID in Germany after going there with their family who have had to take time off work. And if they're American, they won't have much time off work, right? They fly over, they catch COVID. So they've already had the 2-week incubation period, whatever it's called. Quarantine. Then they have to have however many more weeks, which they can't take off for work, presumably. So they might get fired. And then anyway, even if they don't get fired, their kid, who was about to have the best weekend of his life, has now got COVID and can't speak anymore. It's just
it's a lot of people tweeting being very stupid and very short-sighted, and it's frustrating as well. But that does then therefore mean that we have got a very cool replacement.
Sorry, I've been negative.
Not even replacement, a very cool alternative until we can end up having LAN. Because instead of RLCS X Worlds, there are now going to be these regional championships. So the way that I really like that this has been done is because it means that it isn't the same format I've already seen. This will not be Swiss. This will not be a double elimination. This will not be a groups thing. This is completely new. We've never seen it in Rocket League Esports in any event apart from something a while ago that I can't remember the name of, but Dazarin told me about it, and I'm very sorry I can't remember. Basically, the format is going to be best of sets. So every single match in this, I've got a little bracket on the video version where every single round is a best of 3, best of 5, or best of 7 set. So win 2 best of 5s, and you are through because you've won that best of 3 set. Win 2 best of 7s, and I believe the semis or the grand finals, and you will have then won that series overall. I really like that. That's very cool. We've only got 6 teams taking part per region for EU and North America. So still the same number of teams. And it is going to be very spicy because not only does it mean that we are going to need to have a team to have got to this point, in EU, if you want to prove that you are the better team over BDS, you don't just beat them in one best of 7. Because that can skew into just one team having a pop-up day. It will not necessarily reward that consistency for that team to get to that point. It will need you to beat them twice, minimum. You need to go through, or twice exactly. You're going to need to beat them twice to go through and then get them in the semi-finals or the grand finals. It rewards that consistency. It means that the better team will win out, and it's new. It's exciting. I love it.
I agree as well. I mean, it's about as good as we possibly could have had in the situation. Nobody is going to say, oh, this is better than a LAN would be. Nobody's thinking that. But that's not the point. The point is that we've all been dealt a shit hand as a species, and we're doing what we possibly can to make the best out of it. And this is going to be a week-long celebration of the greatest season in Rocket League history.
Yes.
The year that changed everything outside of the Rocket League ecosphere for the worse is also the year that the Rocket League Championship Series came into its own, became what it always threatened to be. There is that final ingredient that we need, which will come, and when it does come, it'll be even better. But wow, these championships are going to be absolutely fantastic. People seem to be forgetting that there's $400,000 on the line. People will be set for life based on how they perform in this. The pressure is unlike anything we've ever seen. Unlike anything we've ever seen. And what's great as well is that, as you say, Stumpy, because it's sets, if BDS in EU are to be defeated when it matters, whoever does it, there's going to be no arguments that they didn't deserve it, that they didn't step up at the right time. And the team that are stepping up the most right now is the team that won the most recent regional. And you've seen the difference in Guild, right? The way they started performing, it's like they found another gear after the announcement. They sensed they sensed an angle, they sensed blood in the water, and they've attacked it so with such vigor that I've got utmost respect for Guild and everyone within them right now.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so happy because ultimately I tweeted out, like, we saw teams just straight up give up, and it was just sad. It was sad to see some teams just be demotivated. I can get that there is some demotivation there. I fully understand that. You don't think that Guild were a bit demotivated? Like, seeing it and thinking, well, that kind of goes the idea of going to a LAN, blah, 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 stuff like that. I completely get that. It makes sense. It's a bit annoying. But ultimately, Guild took advantage. Guild won a fucking regional because they didn't give up. And I admire that an unbelievable amount. I'm so happy that they proved that mentality is exactly what a team needed from their coach to step up, say, look, lads, honestly, we wanted to go to a LAN. How amazing would that have been? We can't do that. Other teams will falter. Weaker teams than ourselves are going to falter here. Let's take full advantage. And on that, at the end of their group, they beat BDS 3-0. They fucking swept BDS. It then got through to the regionals, which actually, have we got the bracket in here?
I thought we did.
I've got the bracket on, yeah.
Cool,
I'll scroll into there for now then. They then, in the playoffs, it got to a game 4 versus Wolves, and then they reverse swept. Guild went through Wolves, which, by the way, Wolves looked absolutely astonishing. It was so good to see them play. And then they went to a best of 7, game 7 versus BDS, and they won. It was that was the series that we casted. It was the overtime winner as well, I believe from Tho in the end who got it. And then they went through grand finals 4-1 Aether. It was sick. They have just picked up where several other teams just gave up, stepped down. BS Plus competition. They beat Queso. And then they got through to the semi-finals. Aether beat Galaxy fucking Racer. And then they got through to that semi-finals. These teams that were lower down in the pecking order took it to the teams that were above them. When they started to slow down on that treadmill, they just went to that next gear. And I have an unbelievable amount of admiration for them.
Now, there is a topic that we're going to be talking about later. The big old EU versus NA dragon is baring its teeth again. I do. Rettel's clamours for attention. But should I admit publicly that as of right now...
No.
No, I shouldn't admit publicly.
Hold it at least.
Till when?
Well, I wanted to talk about just the world stuff just very quickly.
Okay, all right. All right. You want to keep us rigid.
Yeah, just because you were saying earlier that Europe's got 400 grand. One thing that I really liked is that the sentence in the blog post that ended up going out was, when we announced RLCS X, we announced a $1 million prize pool for the World Championship. That prize pool just going to be split up. Like, still $1 million. No one's losing out on money. Europe is now battling for 400 grand, as is North America, Oceania, and also, is it Oceania or Oceania?
Oceania. Oceania is a very smelly nightclub in Plymouth.
And in Nottingham.
Nice. Did it smell there too?
There was part of it that genuinely anybody from Nottingham right now is hoping that I don't mention this. It has got an area of it called Fingerer's Corner.
I didn't think you were actually going to say it. You said it.
Where where people straight up genuinely went to get knuckle fucked. So it's really good that Europe and North America have both got $400,000 to fight for each. Oceania and South America, they're both going for 100 grand. They've just got their grand finals they're going for as well, because one thing that did ultimately, this announcement came later than anybody would have hoped for, is that those guys have played for those top two spots, and teams ultimately have disbanded because they didn't make those spots. They only had 2 representatives going to Worlds. That therefore means that one of the South American teams, one of the Oceania teams, they are going to be given the majority of 100 grand for winning. Theirs is a grand final. That looks amazing. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a great thing. I'm glad that there's a gap before it as well for people to, including us, to cool off. Do you know what I mean? Because there are opinions either way. And I think that among all of that, our love of Rocket League... Oh, I've pulled out my headphones. Oh, sorry.
That's going to get cut from the audio one, but that's staying well in this.
Yeah,
video.
You're not going to just delete that, just that moment.
No, I shan't be doing that. I'll see the peak as well in the waveform, and I was like, I'll leave that. I'll be leaving that.
I respect that so much about you. What was I saying? I was saying that among all the furore and the anger and the discussion and the debate, to an extent, it was lost that we just bloody love watching Rocket League. Yeah. The players ultimately must love Rocket League to an extent to play it as much as they do. We love seeing the money sharing hands. We love the debate of EU versus NA that can't quite be answered yet. It's a passion for each and every one of us, and having a break for us to remember that and miss it, I think will be really good for the championships. If it was next week, I think they would be dulled slightly, but this gap will just polish back that luster.
Yeah, exactly. So looking forward to seeing how that ends up going down. It's going to be an awesome week full of Rocket League. I also like that these are happening from Tuesday, June 15th through to Sunday, June 20th. And it's 2 regions on the days as well. So Tuesday, for example, has got round 1 and quarterfinal 1. And then it goes North America round 1 and quarterfinal 1. And then it goes through with the Saturday is fully South America and Oceania. That is when those ones kick off. That is going to be so sick to watch, because they're just going for a straight up. It's essentially, and not to diminish the region, it's essentially a show match. They don't fight through a bracket at that point. They don't need to see if they've got that stamina to go through and just hope that they can go for a lower bracket run. You're in that grand final. You're getting a slice of that pie, and that is so much money invested in South America and Oceania as well.
Do you remember the good old days on this podcast where Rocket League esports hadn't really evolved for about 4 seasons?
Yep.
And we used to say, just give something a try. If it works, great, take it and run with it. If it doesn't work, then no harm's done. We now know that it won't work. Yeah, the example that we had at the time was non-standard maps, which ultimately never happened, but that was one thing of many that we've pushed over the years. I love now that we're in a position where, for the biggest event ever in Rocket League, this championship week, we're trying something. We're trying sets. And it might be that after it, when all the dust is settled and the money's been handed over and, the big excitement has happened, people go, do you know what? It was a bit much. Best of 7, best of 7, best of 7, best of 5. It's just a little bit too much. Or it might be the best thing ever, and going forward in different events and going forward in LANs and going forward in playoffs and championship Sundays, we take it and run with it again. Yeah. So I am very much intrigued. I think it's going to be amazing. That is my firm belief. But any lessons that are learned are going to be taken forward, as has been happening all season as well.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to have sets. So I'm happy that now I can have it with Rocket League. Looking forward to seeing how that ends up going. Otherwise, cool, Cole. This fantastic title.
Grid.
German Amigos. They managed to get through grid, and they ended up going through into the as the grid wildcard spot because the grid for spring finished up, which is very exciting.
It did indeed.
And German Amigos in the big table ended up finishing second. But because there was a whole load of stuff that was going on, a lot of the teams that went through, everybody apart from BDS, whoever finished last out of that, whoever finished last, as in went the furthest through the tournament, and therefore tournaments finished last.
That's
whoever
the
had
dumbest
the highest
thing
placement.
I've ever heard. Of saying you finished last because you reached the final.
Yeah. So whoever finished last.
How are you so negative that...
No, that's right.
It's technically correct, and it's also the most negative version of reaching the finals I've ever heard.
Whoever finished last...
Yeah, go on.
As in their game day finished last.
Sure, whoever reached the furthest in the playoffs, yeah.
Yes, that's another way of saying it. Bit of a weird way. Bit of a roundabout way of going about it. They would then be going through as our grid wildcard spot, and that ended up being German Amigos, and they weren't even in Regional 3. Like, they were fantastic. I really enjoyed seeing them. I
saw the footage of their knockout match in the qualifiers, and they got so unlucky. Like, the ball was pinching awkwardly off the post, and there were wibble hits and pinches that went into their own goal when they've been having 3 minutes of pressure and stuff like that. So anybody thinking our German Amigos have just popped off in one event and they're going to be crap other than that, that's not the case at all. It's just like, when it's open qualifiers, some teams are going to miss out when there's only 20 teams in it.
I mean, they ended up going 10-5 in the grid. So the teams that they beat were Dignitas, Giants, Guild, Rix, Vitality, Top Blokes, Wild, Atlantide Wave, Big Bad Howard, and... Oh, that was it. Oh, wait. What's that 3-1? What team is that with no logo? Liquid for me. Their logo hasn't loaded. That's weird. Yeah, and Team Liquid, they beat them. They only lost it to Endpoint, amazing. Galaxy Racer, BDS, Singularity, amazing, and Solary. So nailed it. They did really well. Looking forward to seeing Joe and Amigos go through. And one thing that me and you were both celebrating over on the Grid Overtime stream was that this wildcard spot is finally coming handy, and I absolutely adore it.
Yeah, well, it did last time with Singularity in the winter split as well. It didn't happen in the full split, I believe, if I recall correctly. In full, it had to be the top person. I think they had to win the grid in order to get it, and they didn't need it in the end or something, so Oxygen didn't get it.
No,
I think there was only one spot, whereas now it's the best of the rest, whereas in full, it was you had to win to get the wild card, I think. That was the problem, because the odds of someone winning and not making the major were very low indeed.
I know it all came down to... I don't know where to fucking look for this.
I'm confident, mate.
Why is there anything that says wildcard? Oh, well. I guess it didn't happen, so I just got rid of it, but that's fine. Yeah, it's it was to do with Oxygen, I know that much, and then they ended up making it through regional points instead of going through grid points.
Exactly.
That's how they got through it in the end, yeah.
Which meant that nobody had the wild card because they'd had the option, didn't need it, and nobody got it. So harsh on every other team that could have used it. But from winter, if the team that finished first in the grid, which is BDS, qualified through regionals, it would go to the team in second, which is Vitality.
Only
and then
through to the top 10.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And Singularity, they came fourth or whatever. They were like, we'll have that. We haven't done well enough in the regionals. And they made the major. They didn't do too much in the major, but they made it, and good on them.
I mean, get some money, didn't it? And points.
Exactly. And this time, it's German Amigos that have managed just that. Did you know, Stumpy? And I know that you're a man of statistics, that Amigos had one of the best defenses in the grid.
Wow.
Only allowed 1.55 goals per game.
That's crazy, and that's off the top of your head, is it?
Yeah, I just come up with this stuff. I was going through their scores in my mind, and I did the maths, and I figured out that, and I read Direct's comment.
That's very impressive.
The usual.
Very impressive, cool. What else was impressive was BDS winning again, lol. But they didn't. They didn't, cool, because over in the RLCS, in this third regional, it was nutty. We alluded to it a little bit earlier on. Guild absolutely freaking smashed it, and Nolly was so sick. He is... I think he might now be one of the most, or if not the most, underrated player in the RLCS, because a lot of people weren't giving him credit before this, and me as well. Admittedly, I hadn't had him right up at the top as my underrated player. And a lot of people now are thinking, after that performance, yeah, he is very, very clearly up there. Acronic is also in that in that group of players. Unfortunately, they didn't get through to that grand final, but they were incredibly close to doing that as well. But a couple of wins did end up happening in the playoffs because, Cole, we, on the pre-show for Europe, we did a little bracket prediction, didn't we?
We did, where it was me, it was Stumpy, it was Shogun, and it was Jonathan Boyington. And the recent newfangled fun idea we have is to make a joint bracket where between us, one person will say one result, and the next will take their result and apply it to the other ones that have been put forward. So instead of us having a bracket each, we collaborate. And the bracket that we had had a Guild to beat Wolves, had BDS to beat Atlantic Wave, had BS Plus competition to beat TPS, had Aether to beat Galaxy Racer. But then what did happen in the semi-finals, Stumpy?
How are you skipping over BS Plus competition to beat Queso?
We'll get to them. Okay, fair enough. Had BS Plus competition, what? To beat Queso. That was a gobbo prediction,
to beat
wasn't
defending champions, Team Queso, and one man plus 3 people on the desk, therefore full team joint prediction on the desk. Yeah. Every man went for BS Plus competition to take down Queso. I was audibly, once again, laughed at for that prediction, and yet...
Were you?
Yes, I was.
At you for that one. I think Johnny shouted at you, but I think...
I normally get shouted at.
That one was fairly standard.
That was not a standard prediction. That's a
but
goodie.
Team Queso love a loss. And BS Plus competition have been here before. They'd already reached semi-finals once before. I think that one was a fair pre-diddly-iction. I probably would have gone Team Queso for what it's worth, but I don't think that I laughed at you. But maybe I'm wrong. History will tell me when people go back and check the VOD.
Bad history.
But yeah, we had all the quarterfinals right, and then it came to the semi-finals, and surely this is where our road would end, because for some reason Shogun bullied me into going with Guild Esports over Team BDS, and that was never going to happen. Oh.
Yeah, that was... I remember then Shogun bullying and saying, nope, this is mine. I'm going for this. Guild definitely win. And they did. Guild managed to beat Team BDS, which was absolutely shocking. I then fully pushed BS Plus competition to beat Aether. And I still believe that BS Plus competition really could have done, because they looked phenomenal. After going through Team Queso, they looked really fantastic. But Aether, ultimately, Johnny went for Aether. Shogun said, right, Johnny, you get that win then. I was like, oh, fine, okay. Aether then went through on the lower side. In the end... Yeah, very true. Is it another Game 7 overtime?
It was Game 7 overtime,
so both our semis were Game 7 overtimes?
Both of our semis were Game 7 overtimes, yep.
Oh my gosh. And in the grand finals, as soon as it got there, we were in our private DMs, and we were literally saying, this could actually happen. Like, we're now in a really good position to get this right. And Guild looked near unstoppable. They looked absolutely phenomenal in that. Guild ended up winning 4-1 in the grand finals, and our 7-0 prediction came off.
That's what we do. That's how we do it. When we're a team and we agree, when we work as one coherent unit, we come up with absolute gold. Probably never happen again.
Clearly.
But we can look back at that with pride and say that Johnny, Shogi, Stumpy, Coley came up with gold, came up with brilliance in that playoff. I don't think... I wonder, actually, in the pick stop and all that, how many people predicted that exact run in the playoffs. It can't have been too many.
I think a lot of
once
people
you have
would have
quarters
fallen.
and semis and finals, the odds diminish of each further round you have, right? So I'm not sure once you have 3 rounds of games how low the odds are for a coin flip. I remember saying that if everything was done for a coin flip, it'd be 0.87%. So it was 0.87% of that happening if everything was 50-50. But then to have BDS over Guild, losing to Guild, I think that lowers it even more.
From what I remember is we ended up getting 3 perfect scores in there as well.
We had Guild to beat BDS 4-0 because I stropped at Shogun when he made me go with Team Guild Esports.
I had BS Plus to beat Queso 4-0, and they went 3-0 up. And
they had an overtime as well, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And they ended up throwing
6 minutes 38-second overtime.
Yeah, and I was so annoyed that they ended up losing that one, because that would have been a very good call. Ended up not happening, unfortunately. But yeah, perfect bracket. Absolutely loved it. In the end, Guild take it. They were mentally the strongest team. They fully deserved that win, and I'm so excited to see how that ends up going when they play Rlcs and Co.
Yay! Rlcs clamours for attention. Headline of the week. Rlcs tweeted, "Please let me, first killer and any good East NA pro that wants to join us play Guild in a best of 7 on EU ping at JohnnyBoy_I. I'll throw up $1,000 for winner." couldn't do it with my team because SIP gets like 170 ping to EU.
Right.
Says Rlcs.
So I saw this. Great tweet. I love that Rlcs once again is throwing down the gauntlet. Maybe this time he'll actually follow through. That'd be nice. Put his money where his mouth is. It would be very, very good. But he's basically saying, look, I reckon that me and two... I phrased it as a pickup team with Rlcs. Ultimately, will be a pickup team, but they are some of the best in North America. That they could take down Guild on EU ping.
Yeah, that's an exaggeration there on EU ping, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Flaring.
But I like that matchup. I find it interesting that now he's softly said, oh, let me play BDS, and never actually went through with it. And then as soon as someone else wins, he's suddenly like, oh, I'll beat them though. Oh no, I will beat them. I'll definitely beat those guys. The issue that I do have with this though is I'd like to see it actually be a proper North American team versus Guild. Because to me, this just gives NA an out. Because if North America Rlcs loses, they can say, well, we're not even a team, so like that doesn't even count. And if EU win, they can then say, well, we're not even a team, so it doesn't even count. To me, this just seems like a bit of an exaggeration, and it's a win-win for North America.
I'd still watch it though.
Oh, still watch it. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
I'd still have my EU blue and starry like socks on or whatever, waving the EU flag like we all were in 2016.
Yeah.
I'd be well up for that. I don't think it would take away from it. I think that Rlcs has laid the gauntlet, as you say. He's put the line in the sand. I would back that boy that if he lost, just a tweet saying, oh, I guess EU was better. How funny would that be?
That would be good.
If he lost and that is all he tweeted, and then let the rats argue in the comments.
EU are better GGs.
Fair play. Yeah, whatever the American equivalent is of fair play. Like, go bros, or whatever it is Americans say instead of fair play. Do they say fair play in America?
Fair play. No, they don't.
No.
You say it in their accent horrible. And you figure it out.
Fair play.
It's like wanker. Doesn't work.
Cunt.
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 You're cunt.
Yeah, I am intrigued to see how this one would end up going. I fully see Guild absolutely rinsing them because it's first in North American ping. European ping rather. But I do think that I'd rather see it be an actual US East team. I'd rather that. Like, I don't know who that would be. I don't know what their locations are. But I'd rather it be a fully EU East team. And also would have liked for Rlcs to do this when BDS were like still winning everything. They lost this time, and now suddenly it's coming out the woodwork again. Why not do this with BDS, like, at the time?
Well, to be fair to him, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I feel like he is slowly adding more fuel to the fire as it goes. So when BDS happened to be winning, he was saying 60% trash talk level, whereas now he's risen it to 70% trash talk level. So I don't think it's because our BDS aren't quite as good, so now I'm going to strike. I think it's that he's just gradually ramping up. Like if BDS had won last night, my theory is that, or 2 nights ago, my theory is that he would be making the same tweet about BDS.
Nah,
I
do not see that happening.
You think that Rlcs is scared of BDS?
Yes. Obviously, because he originally tried to throw down the gauntlet before, and then that never happened. Like, I don't know what the stopping point was, but it never came about. And then Rlcs just shut up about it. And he didn't say anything, and I was fully up for that. Like, let's see it, let's do it, let's have a best team in a region, or out the regions. And then now it's no, actually I want to play Guild, but it's like, well, Guild have won one now, like.
I've got a question though. You say that you'd rather have a full NA team.
Yes.
If all the good ones, the 5 good ones that they have, are in the West, and the best one they have in the East is say Alpine Esports, would you be like, oh, it should be Alpine versus
No.
Guild?
At that point, no, because it's like, well, Guild clearly absolutely not.
What about Scuba Squad?
Scuba Squad would smash Guild, yeah.
Okay, RBG, Big Miles on the
Miles who
sticks.
won a 1v1 at one point.
He did at one point, yeah. With Stokely, a name that sounds very Mancastrian.
Oh,
it's me, Stokely. I was thinking more Stokely. How you doing? It's me, Stokely. I guess that's more Liverpool, isn't it? Yeah.
No, that's kind of man.
I'm Stokely.
I think. It's all Northern. They all sound weird.
They all do. They're all the same.
I would want it to be the best team that they could put up within reason. Essentially, I want it to be the best team that has decent ping, like to EU. I don't know. I just want to see it, man. Maybe you do it like as a best of 11, right? Because then that will become representative of how a series may go, and you alternate each game.
What about 50? What about best of 51? One for each state.
At Garrett.
Wee.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I see Rlcs just get fucking slammed by Guild, because if Nolly is playing on that same form, I do look forward to seeing it. I would say that I don't think it's even an unpopular opinion on the consistency level. You're not Space Station Gaming, but like your NRGs and stuff, they are quite clearly a level above Guild. Like, they just are, and that's fine because Guild have just come out of this one and won a regional. But I do think that it will come down to whatever happens at LAN as being the definitive one. Hopefully it's representative, and with what you said before, Cole, one side just smashes the other, and it's like, oh, fair enough then.
Yeah, I don't know how comfortable I am with Guild Esports representing EU. That is not a team that I trust as my champion.
Yeah, why not put up BDS? Like, tell you what though, this is 2 second-rate teams from each region. So it's SSG from North America versus our second-rate team in Guild. And then we can have like actual good players placed. Then we get in BDS versus NRG, or someone that like sort of continues to, apart from like the one-off where last night Space Station beat NRG in the grid, a team that will consistently absolutely rollock SSG.
That makes perfect sense. It's like a boxing thing where earlier on in the day you have the little weedy
the undercards.
15-year-old fighters. They're sort of slapping each other and they're giggling. Do you know what I mean? They're having a good time, but it's not really as good to watch. That can be the one that Space Station and Rlcs and the gang join in with. Then later on, when you do have the squishy muffins or the turbos, the big heavy hitters of North America, the actual good North Americans like Turbo Pulsar, they can come up against our proper teams like. Well, proper team.
BDS, yeah, exactly. Maybe get Vitality involved. They can be like the secondary undercard. I don't really know. Yeah. Then we can get like, And then that'll decide everything.
I feel like Vitality, so Space Station Gaming would be where it's like your proper amateurs and they're doing it for a laugh and they're a bit lardy and tubby.
And like they get hit and they giggle.
Maybe not. Maybe I was harsh there. I think it's more, they've got a good punch on them, but that's all they've got. It's the big swing, the big lumps of lard.
Yeah.
Vitality, they've got good technique, but they're not very strong. Do you know what I mean? Like, a gust of wind would blow them over. And then when you get into the Team BDS, it's the proper teams from America, like NRG or Envy.
Yeah.
That's when it's guys who are big and they've got technique and still they're faster than you. It's like, how have they got everything?
They're the Mike Titans.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm excited to see whatever sort of Plat 3 Rlcs can rile up to join his team. Otherwise, Cole, I would like to add more fuel to the fire, because I've seen that people are making tier lists at the moment. Right?
Yep.
And I would like us to form a tier list.
A band.
And a band. We can do that later. For the RLCS teams. All right? Wait, hopefully this works. Will this take me through? Oh, it does show it. Oh, what a world. Okay.
I'll have to watch your thingy. Let me make this maximized.
Zoom out.
Cool. Okay. So this will be the bulk of the rest of this Poddy C, will it? This is the
I think so.
Feature of the week.
Yeah, this is our feature. I've not got a weird place, nothing like that, but I have got time for a tier list, where, for any audio listeners...
Is that the jingle? Time for a tier list?
Time for a tier list.
It is, actually.
You might want to come to YouTube for this one, because...
we'll talk it through regularly. We'll make this as audio as possible.
Yeah. I think we start just with the teams that we immediately know where they sit. So should we just go BDS straight up S+?
Yeah, BDS just S+.
Immediately. Who else are we feeling?
NRG.
S+. Where's NRG? NRG, you can't really see them on there, but they are.
Oh, that's harsh. Well, NRG are out the game, sadly.
Yeah, sorry,
America
NRG.
have lost their champions. They turned up.
That's harsh again. That's harsh again. It's just BDS
G2,
up there.
put G2 in there. Come on, mate.
Okay, fine. I'll put G2 up there.
What? You
can see one eye.
And what about the tier list?
Very good. All right, endpoint. Get that out there. It's looking really stacked up top.
I think Solary would suit that.
Yeah, Solary, how are they feeling? Oh, okay, we can see them a little bit.
Right, move them down if you can see them.
I'll drag them back off. So you reckon NRG on the same level? I don't think so.
What's that? What's that says view something?
Oh, label background colour. White. Oh, no, hang on. That's just the label background. No, I can't change it, unfortunately. We're stuck on that bad boy.
For goodness sake.
Okay, well, BDS and NRG, they're up there. They're chilling. They're in the S+.
They are chilling.
Apparently we can change background colour. Change background colour. Oh, lovely. Okay, what colour do you want? Nice pink?
Pink. Yeah. Oh,
that's good.
Endpoint. Endpoint, I'm stuck in there.
Oh, Endpoint, what are you doing? Right, who else
down
do we
to F.
feel are at the top?
Envy have been there. I don't think they are anymore.
Should we put Envy as S tier? I'm happy with Envy as S. I do think S plus, that's filled up already. Like,
yeah,
BDS, NRG, those are the two top teams.
Let me just get the rankings up so I can...
Who else do you feel
I think it's all about ceiling and floors, and I
Mm-hmm.
think Team BDS's ceiling is high enough and their floor high enough as well. Same with NRG to justify that.
Okay,
Envy
so...
would be joined by
Rogue?
Space Station Gaming as well, in all seriousness.
Yeah. Rogue and SSG, there they are. Okay, Vitality, I reckon they're around there. I fully back Vitality to be in the S tier though.
Can my dog hush, please? Jasper, shush. Are they good? When was the last time they were good enough? They finished 9th and 12th in the last two. No, because for Jasper, girlfriend.
Make sure you
Right,
reply.
be right back. I'm gonna put him in the lounge.
Okay.
No, she's there, but she's just opened the lounge door.
Okay, this is staying in for all you video listeners. This is staying on. Why's Cole got a blind on his door? What's going on? What is happening? Right, who else do we feel? Who else am I particularly feeling? Because I wonder who would join Vitality in the S tier. Out of our teams, do I think that anybody else can sit up there? I'm gonna just put Dignitas. Would Dignitas be in A or B though? Would Dignitas be in A or B? I am not sure because Queso don't have an argument for being in A. Whenever I've seen tier lists as well, a lot of people have been saying that FaZe belong in A, and that blows my mind. FaZe are not an A tier team. I do not back them to be there. I think G tier are on the same level as A as well. I'll move that out for Carl so the audio isn't all fucked up.
Hello, sorry.
Hello.
Hi.
I mean, just so you know, that's fully staying on the video version.
Brilliant. For God's sake.
Just so you're completely aware.
You're pathetic.
Yeah, I'm not editing anything. That's not my
Right.
job.
No, true. What is your job?
I was putting forward arguments of Dignitas in A. And other teams around Dignitas, but they're potentially in the Bs. They're around
I'm annoyed.
Here.
I'm annoyed at EU. I'm annoyed at Dignitas. I'm annoyed at Solary. I'm annoyed at Vitality. I'm annoyed. I'm not annoyed at Queso. I'm not annoyed at Guild. I'm annoyed at Galaxy Racer. I'm annoyed at I'm annoyed at Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm annoyed at all of the EU teams apart from Team BDS, who I don't blame for going out in the semi-finals 4-3 when
Because
Guild
they're
played the ball in
first,
their life,
literally,
right?
regardless. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't blame them at all, and they're still very much S+. But the rest,
we need to try and do our
fucking
best to
C.
think of the season as a whole. How
Yeah,
have they done
I know.
overall? That's why I'm thinking Guild are going to be around A and B as well. We'll get quite a few teams in this bit, and that's okay.
All right. When
put-
you put it like that, I think the Vitality can go into S. That's fair. I'm not sure Rogue can go into S just yet because they had their purple patch, and since then they've been a bit flip-floppy.
I will fight for Rogue to be in S, considering how solid and how non-iffy they have looked when they've been at the top.
Yeah. No. Yeah. They've got a massive ceiling, like one of the highest, perhaps the highest ceiling. But
that's why I think they should
is
be
their
in there.
floor?
Tell you what we do. Should we fill it in a bit more? Then we can compare other teams around them.
Okay, all right. I'm happy to leave them in S for now.
Like for me personally, FaZe is B. FaZe is a B tier
FaZe are
team.
fine.
I've seen them on so many other lists. People are like A and S for FaZe. I don't get that. I just straight up don't get that.
I don't really think that either. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I think
defensively
FaZe
they
is
can
B.
look very iffy and just have weird misses of the ball at times. Yeah, I think if they weren't FaZe, people wouldn't be that hot about.
I think Rocket League logo is Aether, but it doesn't say. So maybe we just leave them out.
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, Giants. Okay, let's go from like some of the EU teams. So we can just feel this
Giants
out.
would be B. I'm annoyed at them, but they're B.
Considering how they've dropped off, I agree. They had a great argument for being in S.
Yeah.
Do this 2 months ago. They're chilling in S quite happily. They're having a good time.
I agree there, yeah, but sadly that's not how it works.
Maybe 3 months, maybe 4 months.
It's been off. I think it is 2 months.
Guild, A or B? I wouldn't feel happy putting Guild at the same level as G2, and I think G2 are below Envy, who are below NRG.
Okay,
so I therefore
agree with
think
you.
Guild B.
Do we still think Dignitas in A, by the way?
That, therefore, makes me want to shift them as well.
Yeah, I think that of those, G2 G2 are better on any given day than Guild, Giants, and Dignitas. This is why I'm annoyed at EU, by the way. Like, it shouldn't. 2 weeks ago, it wouldn't be like this, but the EU have annoyed me.
They've done weird stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just fill in some lower end. Pop in a Ghost. Pop in an RBG. Pop in a 72 PC.
72 PC.
This isn't necessarily where they live, but this is where this is the end of the table they're very much inhabiting. Putting an Alpine. Putting a Charlotte Phoenix.
Liquid.
Putting a Wild. Sorry, Wild, you're our first F- team.
That's very harsh. Whack in Liquid in whatever that is where Ghost are and that.
Okay, so the F column right now for us is we're thinking they could go to a D. They could even be promoted potentially to a C, but they're probably sticking either side of F on D or F-.
A reminder to all the people listening to this podcast that just sit back and enjoy the sound of our voices, really, because this is more visual, but it's all good.
Endpoint.
Top blokes. Endpoint C.
D or
D's
C?
harsh. They're C.
C, okay.
D is harsh.
Because they were top 6 for a good while. They just started being shit.
And their problem isn't that they're not good at Rocket League, it's that they're not good at playing Rocket League. As in, their mechanics are great and their team play can be fantastic, but as soon as they have a lead with 30 seconds left, bet against them as quick as you can. It's a game management thing which can be trained and improved upon.
White Demons, I put them at the same level as Endpoint because they've come out recently. They've been coming up as Endpoint have been going down, therefore to me they meet in the middle.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yeah, that's fair. Top blokes, a bit hungover at the moment, should we say? But I would put them next to G2 overall.
Hey, would you?
Yes, I think they've gone to sleep, which annoys me for many reasons. They need to get over that immediately. But I do think that they are A.
They need to be grabbed by the shoulders and shook.
They do, yeah, they do. But they will be.
You're right. Overall,
and I believe they will be.
If we're going through like your falls and also through your winters, through to spring, considering all of that, considering grid, etc. as well.
And remember that win they got against Team BDS in, I want to say, Regional 2, when they played
dropped into the lowers,
incredible controlled style, but still speedy. The sort of gameplay that we saw them have in full when they really jumped out to us. And I think that they would be a good match for G2, in my mind.
Yeah.
So I'd have to have them in A.
I'll put Queso in A as well, personally. I think Queso look absolutely fantastic. They had a rough one this regional, but otherwise they've been that sort of consistent towards the end of tournament team.
I've said it before, I think, on this podcast, where Queso are the team that I forgive for one event winning it and the next event losing it to a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
They're the team that should be happening to. That's right. So I'd happily have them as A, on the sense that they could be D, but they could be S++ on any given day. Same as Rogue, probably, but Rogue are a bit better than Queso.
Okay, I think Wolves, chilling around the D and F area.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Would they be joined by Liquid?
No,
right.
I wouldn't put Liquid above Alpine.
Liquid. I'm thinking of potentially moving both. Because I think that Liquid are... Do I think they're better than Ghost? Do I think they're better than 72 PC? Maybe not in hindsight. Maybe not after literally saying those words.
Exactly. I wouldn't really put Liquid above anyone.
But I would not put Wolves above Liquid. In honesty, I put them at a similar level. If Wolves are in D...
It gets a bit muddly here. It gets muddly at this point, doesn't it?
At this point, Alpine could beat Wild. Wild could beat 72 PC. Because...
What a tournament that is, by the way, the international rival series. We couldn't get NRG and Giants, so instead, it's XSET versus Rix, baby.
Right, speaking of, Rix. Where do we feel about Rix? Because I mean, you do like him quite a lot.
Yeah,
we can't take this most recent regional. I'll put them B. We can't take their most recent regional because they didn't have cash. Just bear that in mind. They did not have cash. They have otherwise looked great as Redemption. They looked absolutely fantastic. They were a top 8 team at times, if not pushing for that top 5 area. But they do not have that consistency. Therefore, for me, they sit in a similar place of other teams that do not have that consistency. That's your guilds. That's your... I mean, all of these guys. Giants, Dignitas, and FaZe in B.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Have I convinced you?
Sure. KCP would go above Ricks. I'd also add the fact that Wolves haven't been qualifying for stuff, and I saw somebody in chat point this out, so thank you. Shogun, actually. Wolves haven't been qualifying for stuff, whereas Liquid have consistently qualified for everything and the grid, and in the grid they did fine, which moves them up one to me. They have been hanging around, admittedly like a bad smell, but they've been there.
I feel like if we move Liquid, we move Alpine, because Alpine have got a similar tail.
Yeah, let's let those guys hop up then.
They can hang out in
Ghost are also better than Alpine at the moment. I'm pretty sure that Ghost are doing better than Alpine. Everyone's doing better than Alpine. Whenever I've seen the results and watched the games as well, Ghost are beating Alpine. I'd swap Ghost and Alpine. But
I feel like, to me, Liquid and Alpine are each other's counterparts in each region. Do you want to just whack Ghost in D and just go from there?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Fine.
Let's go for other big hitting teams. Solary. You are definitely more. I mean, no, you're not even more happy with Solary than me. It's just that I'm down on Solary, fully admittedly.
They should be A, but they're B.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay. I will agree. I think they've got such a good argument of being in A as well. They got. Do I actually put them in A?
No. Let me tell you why I'm annoyed at Solary. Because, oh my memory, Christ. They lost to somebody the other day. Let me just get the most recent tournament in front of me.
Okay.
Right. Spring, and the video, on the audio, I'm going to cut this all out, which is good.
Video, mate. They all get to see it. They get to see your little face.
You're going to cut it out, are you? No, you're not going to cut it out. Okay,
brother.
Solary, they lose to BS Plus competition. Yeah, Acronic is running all over them. They're telling
Acronic.
Acronic's popping off. He's scored 9 goals against us in one series. Wow. Shake it off. Get the fuck over it, Solary. You lost. You came up against a team that was popping off. It happens. You got outplayed. BS Plus popped off and beat you. Then go down there and beat Atlantide Wave. You don't take your strop with you to the next series.
I mean, right, you say that, you don't take your strop talking as a team.
Yes, one shouldn't, and if one does, exactly, well, maybe
shouldn't take the strop down, because mate, look at the cameras, genuinely. In those series, look at the cameras, and what I fucking despise, quite frankly, I'm sorry that my window is open right now, sorry neighbours if you can hear me, what I despise is seeing any player on any team lose a series and their little Discord window pops up because they've left the call. Fucking grow up. Talk to your goddamn team. At least give it a, right, GG, it's just going to BRB for like 5 minutes, then we're going to talk. Give it that. Maybe they are doing that, and I'm being way too harsh because all teams do it. Maybe that's what's going on. But when I see at the end of a series, you see somebody lean down, type, click, away. That's not it. That is not it. Talk to your fucking team. You're there to earn tens of thousands of dollars with them. Play like it. Talk like it. Be a fucking team.
So Solary down to
Solary
C.
and fucking
that exactly. It wasn't good enough, and I have been up on this team recently because I think that they are brilliant, but it wasn't brilliant,
better than
and they haven't been brilliant. Yeah, but they're worse than. Oh no, they're not worse than Dignitas. They beat Dignitas.
But would that always happen? No. I think B is a good level for them. Games. Yeah, I think they're better than Endpoint. They're worse than Queso Top Lights G2.
Okay.
All right, that's where I'm sitting at.
Is that BS Plus that you got chilling there? That is BS Plus.
Yeah, so there'll be a question marker because think about Godsmilla's team. We don't have as much data on them as other teams, but when we have had them, they've looked great. They've looked really good. They've looked strong. It's, for some reason, Turtle just kept being happy with Freaky. And I was like, you know what? I mocked him to begin with. He identified Freaky as a really great player. And yeah, get it. Acronic is one of the best players in Europe. Like, just mechanical-wise. Yeah. He's unbelievable. It's ridiculous how good he is.
Not even just mechanics, positioning, defending, lack of selfishness, all of it. He's already a complete player.
I think B or even A. Genuinely.
Is that a bit recent?
I appreciate... what else do we have? We don't have any long-term data, do we?
On them, you mean?
Yeah.
So we've got Regional 1 where they reached the semis. Then we have Regional 2 where they qualified again, which isn't easy to do. They went out bottom of their group, Group D, but 3 of their 4 matches went to Game 5, and they lost the Game 5s. If they'd have won those Game 5s, we would have seen them in the knockout gauntlet. If they'd have won even one of those Game 5s, we might have seen them in the knockout. I think they'd have had to win 2. Either way, they could have done a lot better than they did, but lost those game 5s. Have we seen BS Pluses before that have then ended up doing nothing ever again?
But that's not what we're looking at. We can't look at future data. In fairness, because that doesn't exist. That's full assumptions of what they would do. Because I appreciate we've only got their ultimately honeymoon period to go off, which is unfortunate, but that's all we have got to go off ultimately. I would say they've got a very good argument for A. If they're against Queso consistently over like time and time, would they beat them consistently? I don't think so. Do I think that G2 would probably just beat BS Plus competition? Yeah, to be honest, I would. So yeah, I think B is a great shout.
There's also a good point that they didn't qualify again. They auto-qualified because they finished top 4 in the first event. That's a fair point.
Galaxy Racer.
I think B is fine for them. Galaxy Racer, B.
Another B?
Easy B. We've got a lot of Bs. Of those, the team that I'd lower is
we're an apiary.
Rix. You think nah, they're not Galaxy Racer. They're not A, if that's what you said.
No, apiary is where B. It's like the B, like an orchard for bees. What word am I thinking of? Like where bees live. Like if there's a load of bee boxes, it's an apiary.
Bee house, is it?
Yeah, it's called.
That's where a lot of monkeys lived.
I think it's called an apiary. Google it.
Where a lot of monkeys live.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Apiary.
Can't confirm it's
location where beehives. Yeah, there we go.
Location where beehives. Hey, I'm just gonna hive.
B. Galaxy Racer. Feeling that? We okay with that?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
They had a great time. They were loving it. They're declining a touch. If they're against Giants, Guild, Dig, FaZe, etc., they would probably go evens with them. We're getting a lot in B, so maybe we need to be a little bit more harsh. Maybe let's try and avoid B now. Who do you think is in C tier?
I would move Rix down, and I would for now move BS Plus down.
Really?
Yeah, I think that we can do that. And if people go, "Oh, they're really good," we'll be like, "Well, we'll find out." But I think that they just they haven't.
You need to convince me with
B
Rix.
yet. But with Rix, I feel they're a little bit cash centric as a trio. If Cash doesn't play well, Rix don't play well. I think that even though Solar, it could be argued, are the same.
Cash normally does play well.
Cash normally does play well, but Astral's a better player than Cash, right? Taking away mentality out of it.
Yeah.
And Solary are an upgraded Rix, and I think to have them next to each other is odd to me.
Okay, that's a good argument. I like that. Give me BS Plus there and B for now.
Deal. Okay. Fine.
Other teams in C, I would probably be looking at V1.
In C, yes. KCP could have an argument for A.
Who's this? Oh, there's 2 endpoints. Let's go.
That's an endpoint, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Put them both in.
KCP could have an argument for A.
I don't agree with that. I don't think. I think
they've slowed down recently. Maybe it's trying to avoid B.
I think they've got a high ceiling, but I do not think that they have got the consistency. Seeing as I believe they weren't in this, they aren't in this third regional. Is that correct?
Oh no, they will be. They'll be auto qualified AF, won't they? Yeah, they're there. They're spring ranking there.
Hang on, let me have a look. I need to open this up.
I'm checking now. They're in it. Yeah, they're big.
I need to visualize myself as well. To be fair, just like for what they are.
Because they won their group last time, and then they beat NRG to make it through to the playoffs, at which point they got smashed by Envy. Happens. There were 2 overtimes during that as well.
Okay.
I think KCP definitely could be A. I think so. Whenever I've seen them play G2, admittedly before Drees, they always seemed faster than G2, and G2 have got this mantra, oh my god, they're so quick and aggressive, and they rotate aggressively, but KCP were just out G2ing G2 in that regard.
Seeing as we're avoiding B, I wouldn't put them in C. So yeah, I'll whack them in A. That's a good shout. Who else can go lower down? Because I do feel bad for Wild on their own.
Singularity.
Nefarious.
Singularity
are just not very good.
Yeah.
In honesty. Is this Aether? I don't think we should put this in.
Nah, just ignore it.
Oxygen.
Exet are like popping at the moment, aren't they? I think they're like B+ right now.
I think Exet are all right, yeah. Let's have a look.
They're the informed team.
Results. What have they done? So, Regional Event 2, they went out 9th and 12th to NRG, but took them to 5.
They've been winning a lot in the grid.
Fall major, that was a while ago. grid, they've been doing quite well. Their page is almost entirely blue. Like, almost every single result is 9th to 12th or 13th to 16th.
They're there to make the numbers up. Fair enough. Whack them in C then.
Yeah, I think C. I think along with C...
They're not as good as FaZe, are they? Yeah, okay, yeah, definitely C.
Yeah. In C as well...
German Amigos?
Okay.
Is that Pittsburgh Knights?
Yeah.
I think so.
PK probably in C. Let's have a look at their results as well. Now that I don't need to analyse this region, I just don't even take it in half the time. Sorry, Corey.
They failed to make Regional 3, did the Pittsburgh Knights.
Oh, heroics. Absolute heroics.
They're below C. I miss the days of Rlcs Pittsburgh Knights.
I know. We'll leave them there for now. German Amigos, they look really good in grid. Ultimately didn't qualify through regionals, though.
I think Pittsburgh Knights over Ghost will make people laugh at us. But then Ghost didn't make grid, so what do I know?
Am I just thinking like old Ghost? Oh, I've somehow got to a player called Ghost from Australia.
Oh, is he any good?
He looked a bit shit, to be honest. Imagine if he's listening and he's just like, oh.
Oh, man. I really wanted these guys to like me.
What? Is that Australian?
I'm Australian, yeah. I'll just whack PK down to like, is that E? Yeah, E. Put them in Wolves. I reckon PK and Wolves.
No, it's not an E.
What's that then?
F and then F minus. Why would I go D, E, F?
Very harsh.
The American schools don't have E as a grade?
F. Put them in F.
What, PK?
I don't think American schools have S plus as a grade. Yeah.
Okay, fine. German Amigos, I'm feeling a B or a C. Because
I'd probably say C.
For a C, if I put them there for now, they had a fantastic grid. They look really great. But it is if they made it through to the regional 3 by qualifying on points, I'd be like, yeah, fair play. Like they look really good. And even if they lost out, I'd be confident to put them in B. Because they didn't, that puts a massive mark on their record. Who did they lose to, Cole, not to get in? Was it Dignitas or something?
No, it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't a Dignitas or anything. Team. No, it was...
It's really harsh.
Europe, Regional Event 3, close qualifier. German Amigos, they lost 3-0 to Wolves.
Oh, not great.
To get knocked down. And then they...
Where'd they go?
They lost. Oh, that was it. Yeah, they lost to Piketty Galak,
whose page is red.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
If anybody doesn't know Piketty Galak, they are Fergum, Kia Monster, and Boom, who's Peruvian, which is cool.
Yeah, cool name. Okay, yeah, C. Saved, almost made up entirely of their good results. United United with Rlcs. Rlcs look really fucking good. In absolute fairness, Rlcs did look shockingly solid.
Yeah. When you get down to sort of D and below in North America is where
everyone's just Blair.
Yeah, exactly. I would feel odd discussing between those guys. I need to jump back into it properly.
So United got 3-0'd by Envy, 3-2'd Nefarious, who we've put in F-. And then got 3-1'd by SQ and 3-0'd by Xset. Jesus Christ. And they still made it through.
It was Sonics, by the way.
And then they got
rolled is off with in the semi-finals. Reached the semi-finals with.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking ages ago from when
thinking a long time ago.
Jeez, yeah, fair enough.
I think.
Yeah, okay,
honestly,
yeah. And
keep it. I think we should just end it here. I think we should call what we've got.
Well, should we put in the last EU teams, these last two?
Yeah, Atlantide Wave, put them in D.
Let's put E United in F. They can hang out in F.
Okay.
Purely because they beat Nefarious and then got beaten by everybody else above them.
Okay, makes sense.
Yep.
Atlantide Wave D, Train Hard F.
I'm going to put Sonics in.
Sonics
are like hanging around the Season D area.
Yeah, put them in a C. Give them a C.
Okay. So that's what we're sitting with. So should we go through this for the audio listeners who have hated the last 20 minutes?
Haven't listened. None of them have reached this point. But yeah, go on, lads.
Okay, so the S+ tier. No, let's go from the bottom because that's the shitters. F- is Wild, Nefarious, and Singularity. And it's your.
Oh.
Can you read it?
F. No, yeah, I can do it. Shut up. F
Trying to help.
is RBG, 72PC, Charlotte Phoenix, Wolves, Pittsburgh Knights, E United, and Train Hard.
Nice. D is Liquid, Alpine, Ghost, and Atlantide Wave.
Well done.
We're going to get so
Endpoint,
shouted out for Ghost.
White Demons, Rick's GG, Version 1, lovely merch by the way, Xset, German Amigos, and Susquehanna Llama Del Reyes.
If anybody else wants to send us merch, maybe go ahead and just like DM us or whatever. B, FaZe Clan, Dignitas, Giants, Guild, Solary, BS Plus Competition, and Galaxy Racer.
A is G2, Top Blokes, Quaso, and the Kansas City Pioneers.
S is Envy, Rogue, Space Station Gaming, and Vitality.
And then S plus, we say them together.
Yeah. BDS and NRG. That's a good place to like try and like line them up instead of the clap syncs earlier.
Ah,
That'd be nice.
think.
I'm gonna post this to Twitter a lot, like in a reply after the video, and we will see how many people cry at us.
I can't wait for the Nefarious fans to come out in their droves.
Nefarious and Nefarious's mum.
I think that the Charlotte Phoenix listing is quite harsh, but it's done. It's locked in.
It's locked in. It's already getting a cry. That's what we like. It's already getting a cry. It's locked in.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there we go. Everybody, that was episode number... I don't have anything else to do? No, that's just the blank page. That was episode number 64 of the SubPar Poddy C. Officially...
Unofficially.
The best podcast on the internet. And it was brought to you by rocket-league.com. How incredible. How exciting. Make sure that you head over there. There's an app as well. Give it a gander. Give it a bit of love.
Scroll down now in the doc. What does it say?
I like you, smiley face.
And then what does your response say?
I don't.
You don't like me or you?
I don't like me.
Okay.
Have a good day, everyone.